I'm not ready to start.
Well, that was one way. Could we go like that?
Not yet. Oh my goodness.
What do you want? What do you want from me?
Let me take another bite.
Look, there's no one there anyway. So
Okay.
you just sent out the email. So when that number goes up, yeah. It's gonna go fine.
The fades are fine. Maybe.
It's kind of slow as hell.
Since there's no music. Do you need my backup battery?
No.
You sure?
No. Somebody's already there. Yeah, me.
All right.
We're going off the top.
The room is cleansed, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna do this together. Come on. Sit wherever you want. Sit wherever you like.
Thing to do. It's so friendly.
Yes, it is.
In an amazing way. One of the good, like crazy rain days.
All the rainfalls of riches.
Yes.
Okay. Michelle can tell you I normally begin my events on time,
Yeah,
but
people ahead of you. You know,
yes.
what you do. And it's gonna slow some folk down, I'm sure, with the rain, so probably is perfect.
I guess.
You
My
know?
mind isn't even, the
Yeah.
weather changes so much, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't even give them my attention.
It's a good down.
When I'm around other
Just
people.
Train wise, you know, it's a good downpour, which slows things down a little sometimes.
Yes. The rainfalls of riches.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's a good spring.
Yes. Now, both of you are comfortable?
Mhm.
Both of you are comfortable?
Mhm.
You're comfortable?
Yes.
Okay, good. You might want to take out your notebooks and pens. And my awesome audiovisual person, I am ready to begin.
Okay.
So what do I do?
Just start.
It says end stream.
No, that's if you actually want to spend the stream.
Okay, so this is officially on?
Yes.
Okay, so we're officially live?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. And a happy Tuesday and Day of Mars to all of you. My name is Robert Alvarez. I am also known as Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch. I'm also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan. There are people here, so I'm going to not always look in front of the camera, but I will look to them and I'll look to you out there in YouTube land. I would like to welcome all of you to my very first Divine Prosperity Simulcast event. This is not only going on in person in a physical location, namely Ripley Greer Studios, but it is also going on live on the internet to those people who are here. Okay, now I'm going to begin by inviting all of you to take out your wallets and place them open. I actually had an opportunity to go get something real quick at the cafe, at Butch's Cafe. And then I realized I hadn't put away my wallet. My wallet was like at the edge of the table for like more than 10 minutes because I was like, I want to get something to drink. And then it's like, okay, I need to finally get something to drink. So I'm like, oh, it's an open wallet. So, and I happen to love these kinds of wallets. You know, they're just, they really do it for me. You know, I love them. And when I saw the black and gold and silver, I immediately thought, well, shoot. So this is and it's on the left side of my body, which is the receiving side. So I invite you to put it on the left side of your body so you can receive more money. Okay, now, I invite all of you to take a few moments, ground and center your energies. And I also want to mention today is a new moon. So today on this new moon in Taurus, which is the sign of money and possessions, we have an opportunity to plant seeds of intentions. We have an opportunity to make something happen. And unfortunately, sometimes my ability to telepathically communicate with my awesome audiovisual person is a bit off. So for my own peace of mind, is there something that I need to do?
No.
You sure?
Fine.
Okay, just making sure. Okay. So I understand. Okay, so in some magical traditions, it is not a new moon until the waxing of the maiden crescent smile in the sky. But from an astrological perspective, it is a new moon. So I'm actually going to work with both energies. So I call upon the goddesses, the gods, the angels, the sacred fae, the ascended masters, the saints. I also call upon all the ancestors of all of us here, whether we are physically here or online here, virtually here, that's the word I was looking for, whether we are physically here or virtually here. I call upon all of our spirit guides and guardian angels, all of our psychic guides, all of our celestial companions, all those spiritual energies that accompany us in our earthly sojourn. I call upon all of you, of the whole lot of all of you celestial beings. I am calling upon you here and now. I, Robert Alvarez, Zachariah, the Night Falcon, sacred son of Osset and Pan, I call upon you here and now with reverence, with love, and with adoration, and I ask that for those of you that are here, that for those of us that are physically here, that for those of us who are virtually here, I ask that if there is any lingering debris, any lingering gunk, any lingering negative energies that are preventing us from manifesting all the prosperity, all the success, all the wealth, all the opulence, all the professional fulfillment, all the wondrousness in the forms of money and cash and property, which is not at all coincidentally to be found within the word prosperity. I ask that all of you beautiful and bountifully blessing celestial beings remove that gunk from within us and without us. Remove that debris from within us and without us. Remove that stuff from within us and without us, so that we can make the most of this beautiful, wondrous, energizing, opening new moon in Taurus, which is not at all coincidentally the sign of money and possessions in Western astrology. I ask this of you. I desire this for all of us here. And I know that all of us can only receive great blessings, great joy, and great success from everything for which I have asked for everyone here. In the great and glorious names of the maiden, the mother, and the crone, Amun, and in the beautiful and blessed names of the lover, the father, and the elder, Amen. Okay. Now that is also twofold, because because that will eliminate all the negative energy that all of us have been carrying in the day. All the stuff, all the worry, all the, am I going to get here on time? Did I leave the stove on? Did I turn off this? Did I feed the cat? Did I do this? Did I do that? Did I not? That's all gone now. Now we can breathe. Now we can relax. Especially me. Especially me. Okay. And with that being said, I want to, first of all, lay the groundwork for this particular event. So this event is going to focus on the financial form of prosperity, because prosperity comes in different forms. There's love, there's health, there's well-being, there's time, there's wisdom, there's joy, which Michelle can tell you is one of my personal favorite forms of prosperity. But tonight's specific event is going to focus on the financial form of prosperity. It's going to focus on the professional success form of prosperity. It's going to focus on the physical form of prosperity, the cash, the bank account balances, all the things that we need so that we can acquire what we need so that we can move forward in the physical realms. We do not live in a society where, and I love using this example, I am expected and required to pay my bus fares. The bus driver does not look at me and say, well, you're Robert Alvarez, the psychic witch, you can ride for free. I would love to be hooked up like that. I don't have that kind of hookup because that's a lovely fantasy. That's all it is. It's a fantasy. I cannot pay my rent by going to the property management office and say, okay, you're here for your monthly readings. I would love that. It's delicious fantasy, but that's what it is. It's a fantasy. When I get on the bus, whether it's in this state or the other states, they expect me to pay a fare. When I get on the subway, when I get on the train, they expect me to pay a fare. They don't care that I'm Robert Alvarez, the psychic witch. They're like, where's your fare? Same thing with the rent. It's like they expect me to pay a fee. Call the rent. So we're going to talk about some of my personal favorite metaphysical methods and sacred tools to create, manifest, and maintain divine financial supply. Now, first things first. One of the things that will always, always, always prevent you from manifesting ever-increasing amounts of money and prosperity is your resistance to it. If you have even a little bit of resistance, if you have an aversion to money, it's not going to help you. Your aversion to money is not going to help you. Your welcoming money is the same thing. Oh, before I forget, if you could take out your wallet, Phil, and keep it open.
Oh.
And on the left side of your body.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see them now.
Yes. Where's yours?
Oh.
And you're the one that always tells me to follow along with the class, to catch up with the class. Left side, the receiving side of the body. That's convenient for you. You can like take up the thing. Okay, I'm going to go back to you. So resisting money is not going to help you. I think that one of the things that people don't realize is that money has an energy. And I love, love, love when the late Louise L. Hay, when the late and great Louise L. Hay said this in her Receiving Prosperity audio. Money is as spiritual as a rose. The rose symbolizes divine love. And essentially that's what money is. When we treat money with love, when we kiss it, when we give it care and understanding and compassion, it will stick to us. It will not cling to us, but it will always accompany us. When we smack it around and abuse it and treat it, oh, I'm so sorry, and treat it badly, like any kind of relationship, then it just wants to run away from us. It's that, it has that energy. It has that actual energy. It's like, you're beautiful. Now, you don't necessarily have to worship money, and I'm not advocating that. What I'm saying is give money, give all the things that you use to attract and manifest money, divine love. Give it that, because especially your cell phones. You have no idea how many times I hear somebody say, oh, this piece of shit, oh, this piece of crap, I can't stand you. This is what you're using to bring you money. You need to give it love. I mean, I know that sounds woo-woo. It sounds woo-woo to me, but this is something that we use. We use our cell phone so that we can connect with other people, so that we can have the clients, have the business, have the opportunities come to us. And that's important. We live in an age where, cell phones are not going to go away anytime soon. So we have learned how to adapt. I've only just started using my cell phone for other things, but I do love the fact that I use it to talk on the phone because that's its original intention. But we use it for so much more these days. So it's like, okay, here's what this is. Here's how this is helping me. So give all the things that you have, your business cards, your equipment, everything that you use to increase the amount of financial flow in your life. Give it love. Bless it with the energy. Bless it with that loving energy, that divine love healing energy, as I call it. That way, it will always come back to you and it will always accompany you. Okay. Now, I am going to move forward and talk about some very specific ways, and specifically some very specific methods and tools that you can use to create, manifest, and maintain divine financial supply. So first, use your astrological sign as a sacred tool. And since I'm not going to ask everybody to reveal their astrological signs here, what I'm going to do is just go across the board. So let's say you're a fire sign, you're an Aries, you're a Leo, you're a Sagittarius. The element that is associated with those sun signs is fire. They're fire signs. So use candles. And I specifically recommend candles that are red, because red is the color of the root chakra. Money is a root chakra issue. So root chakra energy is yes. So it's a root chakra issue. So and that's one of the reasons why I'm wearing a red shirt. When I first began teaching prosperity classes, a lot of people would wear green shirts or green dresses or have green jewelry. I understood where they were coming from. But when I started working more with the chakras, I'm like, well, it makes more sense. Because it's like, well, red is a root chakra color, the traditional root chakra color, and that's the one about money and security and safety. So we're going to work with that as energy. So as a fire sign, I am going to recommend red candles. I'm going to recommend gold and yellow candles, because gold and yellow has that solar energy, that's that warming energy. And gold and yellow has the word golden in its name. I'm always fascinated, and I've used this as an example. This sterling silver bracelet has more silver than this 14-karat gold bracelet has gold, but this cost more, and it would have cost more even without the gemstones. And yet this has more monetary value than this does. And even though there's less gold in here than other metals and more silver in here than other metals, this has the higher value. This has this legacy, if you will, of wealth and opulence. So gold and yellow candles in addition to red candles. And in some magical traditions, orange is a color that activates and stimulates the energy and speeds it up. So you can burn, let's say, here are just some examples. So you can burn an orange candle with a red candle to increase the amount of prosperity and professional success in your life. You can burn an orange candle with a purple candle as a way of super empowering your psychic abilities. You can burn an orange candle with a pastel blue candle as a way of increasing your creative output, your creative ideas. Those are just some examples. Now, if you are a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, your element is water. So work with essential oils, work with essential oil blends, work with, well, I'm very biased being Cuban, Florida water. I loves me Florida water. Yeah, Florida water is wonderful. And of course, the one that I personally love is the one that has, it has the golden label and it has cinnamon and orange in it. And those are sacred to one of my favorite prosperity goddesses, Oshun. We will be talking about her today too. Okay. If you are an air sign, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, then you're going to work with the element of air. So incense. Now, I am aware that some people are actually allergic to incense. So sometimes you may need to, hold on. So if you, let's say for the sake of argument that you are allergic to incense, you don't necessarily need to burn the incense. You can have the incense on display, let's say on your altar. I used to give readings at the psychic fair that used to take place a few blocks from here, and we could never burn incense. But the psychic who organized it used to always have incense on her table, and she would place incense sticks unlit in various areas of the room. So if you happen to be an air sign that happens to be allergic to incense, you don't have to burn the incense. You can have the incense and you can have it working for you as a sacred tool. And then if you are an earth sign, if you are a Taurus or a Virgo, or like yours truly, a Capricorn, you can work with the element of air, and I mean the element of earth, and specifically crystals. And I'm going to talk about one in particular, which is it's actually an underutilized prosperity crystal, and it's called pyrite. It is commonly known as fool's gold because there was a time during the gold rush in this country, in the United States, when people were panning for gold and they found pyrite. But pyrite has a very different crystalline structure than gold. And it can also be pretty brittle. So here they were finding, I think that's correct. So they were finding pyrite, but metaphysically speaking, pyrite attracts money and prosperity. And it may have been called fool's gold, but it's still a golden color. So again, it has that connection to wealth and opulence and success and ever increasing financial supply. So, oh, before I forget, Irene, if you could take out your wallet and put it on the left side of you, open. It's an exercise in attracting money and filling up the wallets. I love how big your wallet is, the biggest one here. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so those are some. So the purpose of this is to work with your element, because you didn't just get born under a specific sun sign capriciously or for the hell of it. You were born under a specific sun sign and a specific element for a particular reason. There you go. Okay, now we're going to talk about one of my other personal favorite metaphysical methods and sacred tools to create, manifest, and maintain divine financial supply. Is everybody ready? Okay, so I'm going to talk about your prosperity angel. We all have angels. We all have beautiful celestial beings that accompany us while we're on this planet, while we're in a physical body. But I especially love working with the angels. I'm very goddess-oriented for myself personally, but I love working with the angels. So everybody has a guardian angel, and everybody has a prosperity angel. Now, here is what I recommend you do with regards to your prosperity angels. First and foremost, establish a connection with your prosperity angels. And then harass the hell out of their asses. Your rent is due and you're short on the rent, write them a letter. You want to go to another country and stay there for a month, harass the hell out of their asses. You just want to like get through the month with all of your expenses paid in full and on time, harass their asses. And I will tell you why. All of us are going to physically transcend our bodies at one point or another. To use a more common term, at some point, all of us are going to die. Now, if we are going to die, if we are about to die before our time, for whatever reason or reasons, our angels are going to intervene. That is the one and only time the angels intervene. If we want something, if we want more money in our salaries, if we want to live in a more comfortable neighborhood, if we want a more fulfilling home life, if we want new doors of opportunity to open up for us, if we want a romantic relationship, if we want a new romantic relationship, if we want to get rid of all the junk that's getting in the way of a beautiful romantic relationship, then we need to call upon our angels, because they are not going to do anything for us unless we ask. And also keep in mind, the universe loves making us right. Men can't be trusted. There's never enough money. You're right. Why are we going to argue with you? Because the universe is not set up to argue with us. The universe doesn't think, well, maybe they don't want that. Because the universe would think, well, if they don't want that, why do they keep thinking about that? Why do they keep saying that? Why do they keep attracting that? That's what the universe thinks. So if we want something to change, we need to be willing to be open to that change. We need to be willing to say, you know what? I've had enough of this bullshit. I'm done. I want something good. I want something beautiful. I want something that's going to make me happy and just make me be happy to be alive and happy to like jump out of bed in the morning. That's what we need to do if we really want to change something. So with that being said, this is what you do to establish a connection with your prosperity angel. First of all, working with any celestial being, you never need to know their name. It's a nice thing. It's a convenient thing. But I think that everybody in this room and everybody watching online right now is with it enough such that they know when an energy feels beautiful and loving and positive, and when it feels negative and harmful. I think everybody in this room and online right now is with it enough to figure that out. And I'm going to say I'm pretty sure that everybody in this room and online is with it enough to figure that out. So you know that if it feels right for you, it is a benevolent entity. It is a benevolent energy that's here to say, okay, hi, I'm ready to work with you. Now, with regards to writing a letter to your prosperity angel, you would begin with, Dear my prosperity angel. If the angel tells you its name, their name, then great. If the angel does not tell you their name, you can still work with them. I do not know any of the names of my prosperity angels. I don't. I've never felt like I need to know it. I don't feel this obsession with like, well, I have to know. I don't have that. It's like, okay, I've never even referred to them by name. In all the years that I've been working with them, it's never even occurred to me to ask, what's your name? And if I really want to know, I can say, hey, what's your name? And they'll tell me. But I'm not, it's like I'm writing to my prosperity angel because I want this. I want this. I need this. There's a reason why I'm writing them. And I'm not writing them for the hell of it. I'm writing them because there's a specific desire and a specific need. So if you have never written a letter to your prosperity angel before, the first thing you're going to do is introduce yourself. I know, we all know they know your name. We all know that. But it is simply good form. And that's what the universe has told me. And that's what the angelic realms have told me. You introduce yourself. And then you write, I'm ready to work with you. Like if I was writing a prosperity letter for the first time, I would write, hello, dear my prosperity angel, or something like my dear prosperity angel. You can be loving with them. You can be a little sensual. It's okay. And you can write, my name is Robert Alvarez and I'm ready to work with you. And then pour out your heart. Take your heart and pour it into the paper. Some performers leave it all on the stage. These, when it comes to writing to your prosperity angels, leave it all on the paper. I actually have a journal that I use just for my angel letters. You do not have to do that. It is a nice convenience, and I will tell you why in a few moments. First of all, so you're going to write your letter to your prosperity angel and then pour out your heart. And it doesn't matter how you pour out your heart. It doesn't matter like what it is that you write, but it is imperative that you say exactly what you're feeling. And you know what? It could be very cathartic for you to pour out your heart and soul to this celestial being and say, you know what? I'm sick and tired of being broke. I'm sick and tired of fucking crying. I want to be happy. I want to have all the money that I need. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think there are at least 2 people in this room that are long overdue to do that already. I'm not saying names. I'm not mentioning names. You know who you are. But when you do that, that sets this. I don't mean to laugh. It's just that there are so many performers in this room right now. And we are at Ripley Career Studio. So some of my puns are not intentional. But pouring out your heart to your prosperity angel is going to set the stage so that you can have this fulfilling relationship with your prosperity angel. Now, you do not need to write to your prosperity angel more than once a day. In fact, I would recommend not more than once a day, because when you write more than once a day, it is similar to somebody who's having a reading asking the same question over and over again. You're actually causing the channels of cosmically charged communication to be funky and funked up, not in a good funk way, so. Okay, I need to sip some tea after that. That was too much of an alliterative pun for my mouth to take. Okay, so with that being said, and you're also going to call upon them for anything financial, anything professional. Now, I had no plans to talk about that, but they're like, you can tell them, it's okay. I'm like, okay. So, at some point, when you've worked with your prosperity angel enough, you can graduate to working with your wealth angel. Now, I'm going to tell you about my experience with my wealth angel. So every single time I have written a letter to my wealth angel, no lie, no fail, I have manifested money. And specifically in the form of somebody calls me, somebody emails me, somebody sends me a text message, somebody writes a comment on one of my videos, somebody writes a comment on one of my blog posts, and it's like, I want to schedule a reading with you. Every single time. And I think it's the craziest thing because, one would think, and even to this point, at this point in working with my wealth angel, even I think this, I would think that writing a letter to my wealth angel would manifest in being invited to apply for a Black American Express card, or having the wealth to attract the American Express company saying, oh, well, we need Robert Alvarez to apply for our Black American Express card. But it doesn't work that way. It would be delicious, but it's like, that's what happens every time I write to my wealth angel. And the interesting thing is, I don't even specify. I don't specifically ask my wealth angel for this, like 10 clients in a day or whatever the case is. I don't specifically ask for that. So the fact that my wealth angel is bringing me a client to avail themselves of my psychic services is an interesting experience that I've had. Now, I invite all of you to work with your respective wealth angels. And then I would love if you feel comfortable enough with me to tell me what your experiences have been with your wealth angel. Because I know what my experiences are like. I would love to hear somebody else's for a change. So that's like one of your, I don't give homework assignments. I give what I call sacred play assignments or spas. So that's one of your spas. Yes, they give me good stuff. I can't take the credit for that. That's all them. Okay, so now this is what I do. I actually have a journal. Let's pretend this is a journal. And I have a journal that's just for my angel letter writer, my angel letters. So let's say this left part of the journal. We're going to pretend this is a journal because we know it's a calendar. So let's say this is the page, the left page. This is the right page. So what I do is on the left page, I write the day of the week, the date, the time. And then I write the letter to my prosperity angel. It's like, dear, my dear prosperity angel. And I've already established a connection with them. And I say them because sometimes intuitively it's one. Sometimes intuitively it's more than one. Sometimes intuitively one of them feels male. Sometimes intuitively one of them feels female. Sometimes it's like it goes back and forth. At any given time in, let's say, the last 5 years, I have had 1 to 10 prosperity angels. Many more of them have been female or felt female than male. So, and I know that at least 2 of them have at one point felt male and another point felt female. So I'm just going with my intuition. But at one point, I felt as though I had 10 different prosperity angels. I'm not going to question my intuition, and I don't have the physical evidence to say, well, this is the real deal. I just know what I feel and what I intuit in that moment. So let's say, for the sake of argument, the angel letter that I'm writing to my prosperity angel is, I am in need of $45 to pay my cell phone bill. And I don't have $45 right now. I ask that you bring me my $45 to pay my cell phone bill under divine timing and goddess grace. Thank you for listening. Sincerely yours, Robert Alvarez. Now, let's say that I wrote this letter. Let's make it easier. Let's say that I wrote it today, Tuesday, May 15th, 2018 at 3 p.m. Now, let's say, for example, at 9:30 p.m., same date, I discovered that I had more money in my bank account than I realized. In fact, I had $45 more than I realized. So then I would write same date, and sometimes I've literally written same date. But when that's happened, I write same date and then I put the time. And then I would write, I rechecked my bank account balance and discovered that I actually have $45 more than I thought. Now I can pay my cell phone bill, and amen. Sincerely yours, Robert Alvarez. So that's just a very basic way. It's funny, I thought I heard something. That's just a very basic way of writing to your prosperity angel. You can do this with any angel. You can do this with what do I call them? Yes, AEA, the Angel Employment Agency. Because one of my very first spiritual teachers actually found a position of employment with the Angel Employment Agency. And these days, it is extremely rare to be able to find a position of employment in an office that does not require computer skills and computer usage, but she did. And when she told me that, I'm like, that's all the angels. She's like, that's what I was going to tell you, Robert. That's all the angels. I'm like, yes, I do, because you taught me well. So, and to my knowledge, she still has that position of employment, although now she does have computer skills, but they trained her. So it's crazy how some of these things happen, and you can't make this stuff up. Okay. You can absolutely work with any angelic being using this method. And by all means, do not feel that just because this is a prosperity class, you can only, and you're here, you can only work with your prosperity angels. You can work with any angel that you feel led to work with, or any other celestial being for that matter. I personally prefer keeping a journal, because that way I can go through the journal and I can see, like, oh, I wrote this letter here and on this date and time, and then I see what happened, whether it was 2 days later or 2 months later. And for me, it's very uplifting to do that. I find it very uplifting, but you don't have to keep a journal. I love journals. I love journal writing. So I enjoy keeping a journal. Okay. Now we're going to move on to something else. We're doing good on time. So one of my personal favorite metaphysical methods for increasing one's blessings is by literally blessing something. So bless your business cards. Bless, those of you who play an instrument, bless your musical instruments. Those of you who use props or tools as part of what you do professionally, bless all of those things. As somebody who gives readings professionally, I bless my tarot decks, I bless my oracle card decks, I bless the crystals that I use on the layout table, I bless my layout cloth. I bless all the devices that I use to receive communications from my clients, including but not limited to my cell phone, my computer, everything else that I have. You know, I have a WordPress blog. I bless my WordPress blog. I have a YouTube channel. I bless my YouTube channel. So, and of course, I bless my beautiful computer, which was a beautiful gift. So, and that's I'm getting ahead of myself, right? They said no. Okay, I'm gonna go with that. All right. I want to tell you something. I've learned how to do this because when I first began teaching metaphysical classes, I used to be very rigid in like, well, this is my outline and this is in the order in which I'm going. And the universe was like, please, just get over it. They said it in a more colorful way, but I'll spare you those colorful words. Anyway, one of the most important things, and I invite all of you to make a sacred vow with yourselves and with the universe. Do not ever apologize for your prosperity. Do not ever apologize that your consciousness got it and that you can actually succeed and that you can actually receive financial flow at the drop of a hat or easily or through whatever combination of rituals, prayers, energies, etc. I have fixed up my prosperity consciousness to the point that every computer that I've ever received has been a gift from somebody else. Every cell phone that I have ever had in my life has been a gift from somebody else. I don't apologize for that at all. I do not apologize for that for 1 second because I know that if I didn't do the inner work, if I did not fix up, if I did not clean up my prosperity consciousness, I would not have that. And make no mistake, I am forever thankful to every one of those individuals that gave me something like this or gave me something like this. You know, I am forever thankful to them. And I am overflowing with gratitude and grace because of that, because it has made my life easier. It has made my life happier. And I've received some beautiful devices. And I am thankful for that. So if you fix up your prosperity consciousness to the point that somebody always gives you something and you always have the means to receive it, do not dare apologize for that because you deserve to prosper. That is one thing that I know to the marrow of my bones. Everybody who's here physically, everybody who's here online, everybody who's here on this planet in physical form, they deserve to prosper. We don't always accept that. We don't always know that. We don't always believe that. And that really is half the battle. If you take away from this, if the only thing that you take away from this is I deserve to prosper, then you have received your money's worth and I have done my job. I don't like to call what I do professionally as a psychic a job because there's like heavy energy to job. You know, I call it a career, I call it a calling, but I don't want to get in like bogged down in semantics because I know I can do that. Mr. Literal can absolutely do that. So do not apologize for fixing up your prosperity consciousness. If you have it, and if you attract all these beautiful things, then that's wonderful. And I can hear Louise L. Hay's voice in my mind. Thank you for getting it. When you get it, when you really adjust your consciousness and it's like, oh, I don't have to suffer anymore. Oh, I got it now. Then thank yourselves for getting it. Thank yourselves absolutely for getting it. Okay, now, we are approaching the half-hour mark. We're approaching the halfway mark. So I want to read this prayer to all of you. I happen to love Alana Fairchild, and I'm enamored by her books. I'm enamored by her oracle card decks. And this book is entitled Magic of Isis. And Isis is the common name for the ancient Egyptian goddess of magic, witchcraft, psychic powers, healing love, and restorative love. I want to show you the image that accompanies the prayer. And I love this overflowing sheaf of wheat. So I invite all of you here and here to keep your arms and legs uncrossed and be open and receptive to the beauty and the magic of this prayer. So it is an abundance incantation, and I will definitely transcribe it for all of you in your thank you emails. This incantation will help you move back into peace and out of stress if you are worried about lack of abundance, and you can feel yourself getting caught in a pattern of negativity or struggle. Place your hand on your heart and speak from the heart. So I invite all of you to place your hands on your physical hearts or your heart chakra, or both if you have big enough hands. Beloved Osset, Lady of 10,000 names, Star of Sokdet, bless us with abundance and peace. May our wealth on all levels increase. Through many channels we receive your flow. With wonder and gratitude we watch our wealth grow. We release all fear and doubt that would block your grace, and instead we focus on your shining stellar face and realize the love and safety within. The flow of great abundance now does begin. And so it is. Okay, that felt good. I'm big on prayer. I'm really big on prayer. Prayer is like where it's at for me. Prayer is a really beautiful spiritual practice for me. Now, as all of you know, tonight is the night of the new moon. And now I invite all of you to turn to, no, not yet. Okay. So you don't need to turn to a fresh page in your notebooks yet, but this is what I'm going to have you do. So I'm going to talk to you about the new moon wish list. In my personal magical practice, I used to never be excited about new moons. New moons was like, yeah, whatever. For me, it's always the bright moon, which is the night before the full moon, and the dark moon, which is the night before the new moon. When I learned the new moon wish list, I became excited about new moons. So here's the gist of the new moon. First of all, creating a new moon wish list is so simple. It really is too simple for complicated minds. That's number one. Number two, the divine guidance that I've received over the years is that when it comes to making a new moon wish list, no less than 3 and no more than 10 items. Now, the items do not have to manifest between the new moon and the full moon, or between the new moon and the next new moon. But don't be too surprised if some of them do. Also, keep in mind that when it comes to your new moon wish list, you might find that some items don't become as important for you, but you may not realize that at the time until you actually write it down. So what I'm going to do is tell you how to begin each item. So I'm going to ask that you write this down. You're going to begin each item with, I now attract the energy for. Okay. I now attract the energy for, and then whatever it is. Now, I cannot overemphasize the importance that with regards to your new moon wish lists, what you are doing is writing down a conversation with spirit. So I don't care what you put on your new moon wish lists. I will not judge you. You know, if you want to have sex with Beyonce, go for it. If you want to have a threesome with Beyonce and Jay-Z, go for it. If that's on your new moon wish list, whatever it is, if it makes you happy, that is the most important thing. I do not care how outrageous it is, how outlandish it is, how crazy it is. It is your conversation with the divine. So I'm just using Beyonce and Jay-Z as an example because they're incredibly wealthy individually and collectively. None of their children ever need to starve for anything. So, you know, so I'm using them as an example, and I think they're just amazing, individually and collectively. But anyway, so when you write down your new moon wish list, and we're actually going to do this tonight, but tonight we're going to actually list 3 things. Okay, yes, we're going to do 3 things because that'll just be easier and it'll fit with the time that we have, the linear time that we have. Okay. Okay. I'm like, oh, I did not see that. See, I wasn't making up stuff. Okay. The magic is here. Okay. So we're gonna write down three things. And again, begin with I now attract the energy for. Now, ideally, when you do this exercise, I invite you to make this as much of a ritual as possible. So light a candle. If you want some music in the background, if you want a pot of tea, if you want a cup of tea, if you want a big ass cup of coffee, it doesn't matter to me. Whatever is going to really make it more powerful for you. And, there may come a time when it's like, you know what? I should be in bed. I was supposed to be in bed half an hour ago, but it's the night of the new moon. I'm doing this now, and I need to do this before I go to bed. It may happen that way. Sometimes no matter how spiritual we are, we might need to do things on the fly. I personally don't like to do that, but I also know that sometimes my rituals can be a little too elaborate. It's like, okay, Robert, come back down to earth, please. This is not the temples of ancient Egypt. I know you were there, but this is not then, this is now, So make it as easy for you and as powerful for you as possible. I'm going to just say it like that now. So now I'm going to invite you to turn to a fresh page in your notebooks and take a few moments, and I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, keep your hands open, and just take a few moments and really think about what it is that would make you happy. Like what it is that you could receive and manifest over the next month, meaning from tonight's new moon until the next new moon. And I will give you that date as well. And just think about really like what would really be juicy for you? I love the word juicy. What would be delicious and juicy for you if you attracted and manifested in your life? Okay. And with that, pick up your pens, make sure that you're on a fresh page, and then you're going to write down three things, always beginning with, I now attract the energy for. And then after the I now attract the energy for, fill in the blank with something that would really make you deliciously happy. When you're done with the three items, put down your pens, and then I'll tell you what to write at the bottom of the list. Okay, so at the bottom of each list, you're going to write down the following. Are you ready? Okay. May all this or better now be made manifest. And so it is. And that is your new moon wish list. In the meantime, the next full moon, which is a full moon in Sagittarius, is on Tuesday, May 29th, which is the day after Memorial Day. And then we have the next new moon, which is a new moon in Gemini, which is on Wednesday, June 13th. And since we have a few minutes, I'm going to give you all the remaining new moons for the rest of the year. So we have Thursday, July 12th, which is a new moon in Cancer. It is also a solar eclipse. You can still do a new moon wish list on a solar eclipse. And then you have Saturday, August 11th, which is a solar eclipse and a new moon in Leo. And then we have Sunday, September 9th, which is a new moon in Virgo. Monday, October 8th, which is a new moon in Libra. Wednesday, November 7th, which is a new moon in Scorpio. And last but not least, we have Friday, December 7th, 2018, which is a new moon in Sagittarius. And this calendar has given me the first new moon of the new year. So I will also give you Saturday, January 5th, 2019, which is the date of both the new moon and the solar eclipse in Capricorn. Okay. All right. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a quick check-in with everybody to see how you're doing. How are you doing? Okay. And you? Okay. You? Okay. You? Okay. Okay. And those of you online, the chat is enabled. So if you want to type in that you're good, you can do that. And now what I'm going to do is go forward and talk about something else because we're doing really good on time. So personally, I really feel that when you start immersing yourself in prosperity consciousness, that's when things start happening for you. And I'll give you a specific example. So there was a time when I used to lead these prosperity support group meetings. I had a client who lived in the Upper West Side, and she would volunteer her home. And I remember the people that attended were people that had different experiences every time they attended one. So again, going back to prosperity coming in different forms, one semi-regular participant would always have a great blind date every time she'd come to one of these prosperity support group meetings. I thought it was the craziest thing. She enjoyed it, worked for her, great. One person who had a chronic physical health condition experienced no physical pain the same night. That one I especially enjoyed. That one really touched my heart a lot. Another one would find that she didn't need to take sleeping pills when she would come. So the types of of manifestations that occur when you begin immersing yourself in prosperity consciousness are going to be varied. Um, Most of the time, they're going to be the ones that you need the most. So if let's say that you need the money most at that moment in time, in linear time, then that's the one you'll receive the most. If you need more peace of mind, if you need more peace of body, then that's the one that will manifest the most. If you need more joy, again, one of my favorite forms of prosperity is joy. I've gotten to the point where being just happy or content just doesn't do it anymore. Doesn't do it for me anymore. Being joyous and being overjoyed, that's the thing for me personally. So also pay more attention to what happens after today. Pay more attention to what happens around your internal conversations of prosperity and money and professional opportunity. And look at what it is that starts to crystallize for you. That's a word I almost never use. It's so funny. I'm like, crystallize. Okay, I'll use that word. They want me to use that word. I'll use it. So start to pay attention to what crystallizes for you. Okay. All right. So I happen to love Catherine Ponder. I happen to love all of her books. You've heard of her.
Oh, yes, yes.
Oh, how wonderful! I don't assume anything, so I'm thrilled. You know who she is. I love this book. Interestingly enough, the angel letter writing method can be found in the Prospering Power of Love, which is so funny because my experience of Catherine Ponder is that every one of her books has a chapter on tithing. And I really didn't feel led to talk about tithing tonight. I'm sure that I'll talk about tithing in a future prosperity event. But tithing seems a little bit too much for this event right now. But I will absolutely say that when it comes to tithing, it's not giving to charity. Giving to charity is not the same as tithing. You can give to people and organizations that need help, and that's a beautiful thing, but that's not tithing. And as somebody who used to work in two different nonprofit organizations, I know that I never received spiritual guidance and divine inspiration from working for those organizations. I received pay, and I received the training of new skills and learning of new skills, and I received some great friendships, but I did not receive spiritual sustenance from them. Plus also, not everybody goes to a church. So not everybody's a Catholic, not everybody's a Christian, not everybody's a Baptist. So, and me personally, I'm a happily recovered Catholic. So I tithe to the individuals and organizations that give me spiritual sustenance. That's what works for me. If I was a Catholic and I did go to a Catholic church, I would tithe 10% of all the monies that I received to that church. But that's not how my life is structured because I'm a happily recovered Catholic and a moon magic witch. So I give to who's feeding me spiritually. And that is, if nothing else, that's the most important thing about tithing. When you tithe, you're giving to the individuals or organizations that spiritually sustain you. You're not giving to a charity because you're giving to a charity. Okay. I'm like, see, I don't mean to laugh. It's just that, my mediumship abilities are a lot stronger and my intuitive abilities are a lot stronger now. So there are times when I hear things inside my head. I know when it's inside my head, it's coming from spirit. When it's outside my head, it's something in the physical realm. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's not inside my head. And I need, and it's funny to me. And as somebody who's very serious, I need to lighten up. And the universe is absolutely happy to support me in that. So yeah. Anyway, everything okay? Okay, no, that's okay. I didn't know what it was at first. I was like, that's, and of course I looked to him because he's monitoring the stream. So it's like, okay, what, 'cause you know that I thought it was you at first, right? Okay, okay, all right. So yes, go ahead.
I have a question about Teddy.
Yes.
So, say like
I'm just, you know why I'm laughing? I'm laughing because I was not meant to discuss this tonight, but clearly they want me to talk about it a little bit. So please ask your question about tithing.
So say your church is the ocean or going into nature or walking in the woods.
I like
or
that.
Something.
Okay.
You scatter like pennies or like.
It depends on what you want to manifest.
Yeah.
So if you want to manifest more money, absolutely coins.
Right.
If you want to manifest more love, symbols of love like rose petals.
Ah.
So yeah, well, specifically romantic love. If you want to manifest romantic love, then I would say rose petals.
Okay.
And for the record, the witch in me always, always, always gives coins to the land spirits. I remember I used to give readings on Staten Island at these psychic nights at these different restaurants. And there was one gentleman who had scheduled a private reading for himself and his mother. And I remember I was massively early. I mean, I think I was like 3 hours early. And I only was 3 hours early because I don't usually go to Staten Island. And I wanted to make sure that I did not get there late. I wanted to make sure that I made the right connections. And by accident, I found this, it's not a nature reserve, but it's this, you know the place that I'm talking about. It's like this forest area that's like a nature.
Which one?
Oh, okay. I'll have to get you to the specific one, but it's this nature reserve, and it's just off. This tells you how long it's been since I've been on Staten Island. One of the main streets in Staten Island, and I found it by accident. So I'm taking a walk through the woods because this is the woods. This was not, to me this was the woods. And, I'm like, you know what? I haven't given an offering to the nature spirits, the land spirits in too long. So I just took like, I don't know, 5 or 6 coins out of my wallet. And so I said, thank you. And I put it left it on the ground. And that was that. So yes, you can absolutely give coins and money offerings to the nature spirits. Absolutely. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, am I going to go forward? Yes, I am. Okay. So now, I actually do want to do this since this is the time for that. So I'm going to ask all of you to, no, we're not going to do this now, okay? What do you want me to talk about next? Because I would have much preferred my outline, but you don't want me to work my outline. Okay. So one of the other things that I absolutely recommend you do is be open. And when I say be open, I'm talking about specifically because for some of you, some of the things that I'm teaching you is new to you. And for some of you, it's like, this is not new to me, and I still feel uncomfortable with it. So one of the things that I'm going to invite all of you to do, both all of you physically here and all of you in here, out there, is to be open and notice what it is that you're resisting. Is there something that you're resisting? Is there something that you are not open to working with, and why is that? And those are conversations that you need to have with yourselves. That's an opportunity for self-inquiry. It's like, okay, why am I uncomfortable with this idea? Why am I uncomfortable with this sacred tool? Why am I resisting working with this metaphysical method? And whatever it is that's there, whatever is there, just acknowledge that. It doesn't have to be like, oh, you know what, Robert is so beautiful now, and Robert's my guru, and it's nothing to do with me. It really has nothing to do with me. It's just like I have the opportunity and the honor and the pleasure of being a sacred servant of the divine. And I do this, and I'm really happy that I'm here to do this. I actually do want to talk a little bit about that, but after I talk about this. So look to see what it is that you're resisting. Look to see what it is that's causing you to feel this stuff. And I'm not going to use specific terms. I'm just going to say stuff, or to use Michelle's vernacular, gunk. What's this gunk that I feel about this method, this tool, this idea? What's this gunk that's going on for me about this thing, this person, this situation? Oh, they were like, did you forget something? Yes, I did. Okay, so two things. Number one, with regards to writing to your prosperity angel, you can write to somebody else's prosperity angel. You can absolutely do that. And you can do that for the quote unquote good reason and the quote unquote bad reason. So here's the quote unquote good reason. Let's say there's somebody that you love and adore so much, and you want them to prosper up the wazoo. You can absolutely write a letter to their prosperity angel. You are not manipulating that person's free will by doing that. You are, if anything, asking that individual's prosperity angel to establish a greater connection with the individual that they are there to serve. Let's say, for example, and I'll use a perfect example because most everybody here knows about this amazingly talented person, Reverend Yolanda. So let's say that now Reverend Yolanda has a new EP that was released called Transcendence. Goddess bless, I spoke the truth. And I know it was the truth because I was there. So let's say that I would love to write a letter to Reverend Yolanda's prosperity angel. And it would go something like, Dear Reverend Yolanda's prosperity angel, my name is Robert Alvarez, and I would love to work with you. I think and I know that Reverend Yolanda is beyond fabulous. And I would love her EP to get so much attention and so much airplay and receive so many accolades, and her and everybody involved with that project receive so much money and prosperity and new open doors as a result. I would love this. This would make everybody involved happy. Thank you so much. In the name of the great and glorious goddess Amun, sincerely yours, Robert Alvarez. And that would be that. I could do that. I'm not manipulating Reverend Yolanda in any way, shape, or form. I'm just being happy that I know her, that she's an amazing performer, and I can tell her prosperity angel, you know what, I would love for you to do this now. And I can do that. Now, that's the good way of writing for somebody's prosperity angel. The bad way is some bitch owes you cash and is not paying you. And it's like, okay, then you need to be nice to the person's prosperity angel. You need to be nice to them. So, dear, who's somebody I don't like? Okay, let's see. And I don't want to get politics involved, otherwise that'd be a whole other class. Who do I not like? Okay, you know what? Let me do it like this. To the prosperity angels of the NRA, my name is Robert Alvarez. I need to tell you something. I do not like this situation. I'm not happy about this. This has been going on for far too long. We know what they need and we know what they have. They have a lot of money. They have a lot of influence. That money and influence is getting people literally killed. Please intervene. Thank you. Sincerely yours, Robert Alvarez. You can do that. But let's use a real life example. Let's say that you have a friend, former friend named Leticia. La gran puta. Leticia te debe dinero. Dear Leticia's prosperity angel, that's right, I need to be nice. Leticia owes me $500. She keeps spending money on her bling. She is not, I'm being crazy and kooky about this, but you get the idea. It's like, she owes me $500. She keeps telling me she's going to pay me back on payday. I have lost count of how many paydays there have been since I lent her the $500 so long ago. Please divinely guide her to do what she knows in her heart of hearts is right. Sincerely yours, such and such. That's the bad way. The good way is somebody that you love and adore, that you want to see prosper up the wazoo. Now, sometimes you will need to write a prosperity angel letter the bad way, because somebody's giving you a hard time, because somebody's like, I'm going to kill this bitch. So rather than get yourself arrested and go to jail, this is what you do. You can do this with anything, but I absolutely recommend it's like, okay, this is what I'm doing here and now. This is what's going to give me peace. I want to tell you something. Writing to one's angels is an incredibly powerful thing. I have a longtime client. She has been using my psychic services since September 2001. And I will tell you, she is always talking to me about a certain person in a certain situation. And she is remembering how powerful it is to write to those people's angels. And every time she does, surprise, surprise, it creates miracles for her. So I invite all of you to be open to this and to use this all the time, because this is going to bring you so many miracles I can't even stand it. Like I would have to sit down if I was literally standing. That's how many miracles are going to open up for you through this. Okay, now they're telling me I've officially completed talking about that topic. Now, here we're going to go. So now at this point, we absolutely are going to go into one of the last things. I really felt like a meditation was absolutely necessary. So I'm going to invite all of you to make yourselves completely comfortable. Keep your arms and legs uncrossed. Close your eyes. And as somebody who has the honor and pleasure of being a Reiki master, I'm going to invite all of you to breathe the same way my Reiki master teacher taught me. So when you inhale, inhale through your mouth. When you exhale, exhale through your nose. This is a wonderful method of breathing that brings the chakras into activation, that brings the chakras into stellar alignment, that brings the chakras into their flow. It increases their flow, no matter where they are in your physical body. Breathing this way activates and strengthens and increases the flow of these energy centers, these goddess gates, if you will. So I invite all of you to continue breathing in through your mouth and exhaling through your nose. And make these breaths, these inhalations through the mouth and these exhalations through your nose as long, as slow, as deep, and as rich. And begin to visualize yourself in a meadow. See this meadow, and in this meadow you are completely safe, you are completely at peace, you are completely protected, provided for. You are wanting and needing for not one thing in this meadow. The weather is perfect for you. Whatever weather pattern makes you your happiest, that's where that is, and that's what's there. And begin to take in your surroundings. See if there's anything else around you. See if there's anything that you notice about this meadow. Now, as wonderful and as soft as the grass is, we need to do a little bit of work. So as much as you want to take a nap, we're going to hold off on that for a little bit. So you notice just a little bit past where you would like to walk, there is a clearing. And at this clearing, there are two rivers. And one is flowing to the right, and the other one is flowing to the left. In other words, one river has the body of water flowing away from you, and the other river is flowing to you. And you are perfectly positioned. The river that is flowing away from you is to your right, and the river that's flowing to you is to your left. And here you are standing in between these two rivers. Now this is where the work comes in. So at this river that's flowing away from you, you have the opportunity to surrender and release anything or anyone that is no longer sustaining you, that is no longer empowering you, that is no longer enriching you. that is no longer fulfilling you, that is no longer prospering you. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter who it is. This is a conversation in your mind with the divine. Whatever it is, whoever it is, just take them and dump them in the river. You don't need to do it with panache. You don't need to do it with force. You don't need to do it with anything other than your desire. In your heart of hearts, or as I would say, to the marrow of your bones, you know what needs to go from your life. You know what needs to go from your body, from your mind, from your physical heart, from your chakra heart, from your soul, from your divine plan, from your world, from your physical world. Begin to take those things and those people, tangible or intangible, and dump them into the river that's flowing away from you. And by all means, give yourselves permission to look at the things and the people that you are throwing into the river whose flow is flowing away from you. Look at those things begin to become so minuscule and so tiny and so unimportant. And some of these things and some of these people have been with you for far too long. And now is your opportunity to surrender and release them. Because the moment you do that, you will be physically lighter, you will be emotionally lighter, you will be mentally lighter, you will be spiritually lighter, and you will be so much happier. And most importantly of all, you shall be free. Completely unencumbered, completely unfettered, and completely free. Physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, sexually, psychologically, energetically, in every possible way, you shall be ever more free. And now, if you have surrendered and released everything that you can think of and everyone that you can think of, begin to turn around and face the river that's flowing to you. And begin to look at the river and the water in the river that's flowing to you. And begin to notice that things are sparkling in it. And those sparkly things might not only be something that normally sparkles. I mean, yes, I'm sure there are a few gemstones and pieces of jewelry there too for you. But what else is there? I know that one of you just saw a little box, and one of you just had a treasure chest flow to you. So open up the little box, open up the treasure chest, let the river do all the work. You don't have to lift it out of the water. It's flowing right onto the land from the river that's flowing to you. It's opening up for you. You don't even need to reach down and open it up. It's just opening up for you. And allow those boxes and chests that are opening up for you to symbolize all of the wonderful new doors that are opening up for you here and now. All of the wonderful new doors that have already opened up for you from the second you registered for this event, and all of the wonderful new doors that are going to open up for you ever after this event. Begin to experience the wonder and the childlike joy and the gratitude and the peace from all of these open doors, from all of these doors opening up just for you. These are your gifts. These are your blessings. These are the things that are going to make it easier for you to be more fulfilled, more successful, more living in joy and peace, more living in love and light, more living in wealth and opulence, more living in unfettered, ever-increasing professional and financial and creative success. And now take a few moments and just bask in all of that splendor, bask in all of that success, bask in all of that prosperity, all of these money miracles and prosperity gifts. Just bask in them and look at your blessed bounty and acknowledge that this is just for you. This is not for this person. This is not for that person. This isn't for this body. This isn't for that organization. This is what the divine has for you and only for you. And all of a sudden you see a light, a flickering light. As beautiful as this meadow is, as beautiful as your blessed bounty is, we are in a physical space, and we are in a physical being called a body. And we need to come back to this space, this physical space, and this body. So begin to remember that this blessed bounty is here for you, and you can always access it at any time, especially when you need it most. And it is completely protected and safe and sound exactly where it is. And all of the celestial beings that are especially sacred to you are guarding it and protecting it and keeping it safe until you are ready to use it. And that flickering light is calling you back to the physical realm. So follow that flickering light. You can absolutely give thanks to the land spirits, to the spirits of the rivers, Madre Oshun, to all the energies that were present in this magical meadow. But follow that flickering light back to your physical bodies and back to the physical space here at Ripley Career Studios. You can give thanks as you follow the flickering light coming back. And give yourself plenty of time and space and peace. And begin to return to the present consciousness. I love the fact that all of my meditations and all of my guided meditations are never the same. And I love the fact that they come to me in the moment. I think only once did I start to receive details about a guided meditation before the event took place, but the rest of it was definitely there during the event. Would anyone like to share some of their experiences? Yes, no, maybe. Nobody's saying anything online, so it's all y'all if you want. If you want, you don't have to.
I can share.
Okay.
When I was looking at the river going out,
Mm-hmm.
a couple things came back.
Interesting.
Yeah, things that I thought, like, well, should I let that go? And spirit,
Okay.
stay with that.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, so that was interesting.
That is very
Yeah,
interesting.
very open to like whatever, just to make sure I was on the path,
Mhm.
So I put it out there and I said, no, that goes the other way.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Very
wild.
Still
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Namaste. Well, we're not done yet. Okay, so at this point, there's something else that I haven't talked about yet, and I'm going to ask them, what else do you want me to talk about? They're bringing me back to keep being open. So yes. Okay, I got it. Okay, because at first when they said that, I'm like, well, like what specifically? Now they showed me. Okay, So, one of the things that I am almost fanatical about when it comes to teaching a class is telling the participants to keep their arms and legs uncrossed. And one of my mantras is no blocked energy. So, going forward after this event, I invite all of you to notice when you have your arms and legs crossed, when you have your arms crossed, when your legs crossed, and I know that there are times when crossing one's legs is very natural, but see if you can keep your arms and legs uncrossed. You don't have to like sprint like this, but you can just keep your arms and legs open. Like, okay, I am open, I am receptive, I am willing to receive, and see what happens after that. The other thing that I'm going to say is it may creep up on you where it's like all of a sudden you have your arms crossed. And it could be because you're a little cold. It could be because there's a judgment that creeped up and it was unexpected. Or it could be something else that comes up. And just notice, again, everybody here is totally with it. So I know that everybody is spiritually with it. So, here physically and there, you over there. So, so I get it. I get that, this is just, if anything, taking your level of spirituality to a new level, to the next level, if you will. Now, I did mention Oshun. So it's funny because I tend to encounter more goddesses of wealth and prosperity than I do gods. So Oshun is the Afro-Caribbean goddess of all that flows. So anything that flows, she governs. Rivers, waterfalls, blood, honey, syrup, sweetness, joy, money. Anything that flows, she governs. I love Oshun because she is an Afro-Caribbean goddess. And I love her because she's not ashamed of the fact that she has a tummy. One of the things I love saying about her, she ain't no stick. She is not a skinny bitch. She is a full-figured goddess who has a tummy and she does not hide it. It's like, hey, she keeps it open. I love Oshun because she's so self-expressed. She is specifically a goddess of creativity, of music, of dance, of self-expression. Her sacred day of the week is Friday. Her sacred number is 5. Her sacred colors are gold and black. And she is associated with a saint called La Virgen de la Caridad del Cobre, or in English, our Virgin of Charity of Copper, because she is the matron saint of Cuba. And cobre is not only the Spanish word for copper, cobre is the name of a copper mining town in Cuba. So Oshun is definitely the one that governs all the things that flow. And because she governs music and dance, those of you who have a career or want to have more success in music and dance would absolutely benefit from calling upon her. I also love Oshun because she is a reminder of expressing one's sexuality. She loves sex. She loves being sexual. She loves being sensual. And she makes no apologies for what she does. She is married to 3 men. And she's like, well, one has these qualities, one has those qualities, one has those qualities. And I wanted 3 husbands, so there. She doesn't apologize for anything, though. She does not apologize for anything. And it's so ironic because this is a goddess who has claimed me as one of her own. And I have a history of apologizing for every little thing. So I know I need to listen to her more so that I stop apologizing profusely. I also have to talk about the ancient Roman goddesses and specifically Juno, because Juno is a Roman goddess of wealth and specifically of eternal financial supply. In ancient Rome, the vaults were underneath her temples. And there was a specific aspect of the ancient Roman goddess after whom we have the month of June. Because remember, June is a very popular month for marriages, and Juno is the ancient Roman goddess of marriage. That's not a coincidence. But Juno Moneta, capital Moneta. And yes, that is how we get the word money. Juno Moneta is the ancient Roman goddess of wealth and of money. Now, Fortuna, the goddess whose name literally means fortune. Fortuna is the ancient Roman goddess of good fortune. But in many tarot decks, she's depicted as blindfolded. So sometimes she doesn't know what's good fortune for you. So by all means, if you petition Fortuna, tell her. Some people think good fortune is somebody else's bad fortune. Let her know this is what good fortune is for you. And by all means, invite her to take off her blindfold. She'll keep it on though, but she likes being asked. She will keep it on because she doesn't want to be inappropriately influenced, and the blindfold makes sure of that. Bonadea, whose name literally means good goddess. Bonadea is the ancient Roman goddess of good things and good tidings. So if you keep surrounding yourself with bad news people, ask Bonadea to bring you some good news people. Also, if you keep encountering bad news, whether it's from other people or from the news, then ask Bonadea to bring you good news, good tidings, good pieces of information. Now, every once in a while, you may have an emergent financial situation. If you have green Tara and white Tara are goddesses that one can call upon when you really need fast cash. Like you have a bill that must be paid right now. And I'm going to recommend a saint for that as well. Saint Expedite. His name literally means expedite. And I actually had forgotten about Saint Expedite until sometime last year. And I was like, you know what? Yeah. Oh, and I have it on good authority that Saint Expedite loves Sara Lee brand pound cake and white carnations. But give him the offerings after he comes through, not before. Sometimes, I have, it's funny because the witch in me is very devotional. I give offerings to the deities that are sacred to me because I love and adore them. And there's nothing wrong with that. But every once in a while, we need to make them work. We just need to make them work. Because it's like, I would love to give, all of these different beings, all of these different things. It's like, okay, well, and it's so funny because it kind of dates me a little bit. But, Janet Jackson had a song called What Have You Done For Me Lately? It's a good song after all these years. So it's like, okay, what have you done for me lately? And if this deity, if this saint has no answer, then they need to work more for you. They need to do more for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. If you want something, and if there's something that you want and something that you need, you can absolutely tell this deity, this being, if you will. I'll use that as a general term for all of them. This being, you know what? I will happily give you this, but this is what I need to pay my rent. And this is what I need to pay my bills, and this is what I need first. But after that, it's yours. There's nothing wrong with that. We have this thing, and it's this old religious, and I'm going to say patriarchal type thing, this energy, this consciousness that it's like, well, we have to suffer. No, we don't. Slavery days are over, number one. And number two, we live in a world where we really have a lot more than we used to. So we don't have to suffer for anything or for anyone. And I invite all of you to be happy and free all the time and not live in suffering and slavery. Okay? So whoever the being is, and wherever you're petitioning them, by all means, you can absolutely give them things, and there's nothing wrong with that. I am very fond of giving offerings on my altars after I receive money. And I'm more than happy to do that. And usually the offering is bread, as in dough, bread, money, because it's like, okay, I have the money to do this. I can give you things that will make me happy because I have the money to give you things. So it is a very absolutely acceptable. And please know you don't have to be a witch to do this. You know, if there is a being that you want something from, and if you want them to give you something, then say, listen, this is what would make me happy. This is what would bring me peace. And I will happily give you this after you give me that. There's a metaphysics store where I live. And every time I go into that store, I always give money to the Buddha. And I always tell them the same thing. I'll give you more money when you give me more money, but I'm going to give you this now. So when I receive, you know, a good paycheck, I will give him $1. Now, when I receive a really big and juicy paycheck, they give him like a $5 bill. And I remember one time I received a paycheck from my side position of employment that was really big and juicy. So I gave him a $10 bill. And I had no problem with that. But I gave it to him after I received that check. It wasn't like, okay, here you go. No, I'm going to give you this. And then when I receive this, I will give you this. And I had no problem with that. Neither did he. And of course, I kiss him on the head and I rub his little belly and all that other shit. You know, I do that. But, you know, I mean, really, it's like, I'm going to do that. I know that's part of the thing. You rub the Buddha's belly for good fortune. I do that. But I give him something first. I don't just say, hey, you know, and like fondle him like I'm sexually harassing him and shit. No, I don't do that. It's like, I'm going to give you this first, you know, because I love you and you make a difference in my life. And here you go. So by all means, sometimes you need to make spirit work for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. Make the spirits work for you, because you know what? If you need this, and if you really, really need this, then say, listen, I would love to give you this. And you want me to give you this. And this is what I need. You don't need to worry about this anymore because you're there. I need to worry about this because I'm here and I'm in a physical body, in the physical world. You know, so I need this. I will happily give you this, but help me so I can help you, so I can make you happy, so that we can make each other happy. You know what I'm saying? Okay. We need to do that. We need to do that more often. You know, I mean, I say it jokingly. I know that I say it jokingly, but I remember last year was an infinitely crappy year for me. And I will tell you that I must have gone through 7 or 8 St. Jude candles. I'm a happily recovered Catholic, but I remember knowing that what little I knew about St. Jude was that he is the patron saint of impossible causes. And I know that there is nothing that is truly impossible, but there were situations in my life that felt absolutely impossible. But just because they felt impossible to me did not mean they were actually impossible. But because they felt that way, I said, you know what, St. Jude, I am petitioning you yet again, and you are going to come through for me because I have a life and I have people that count on me. So we need to get this done now. And that's what I did. I read the prayer, but I was brutally honest with him. I said, you know what? I know that this is not my fate. I know that I am not meant to suffer. So I need you to do your thing. And I need you to do it right the fuck now. And I did that. I was absolutely brutally honest with him. And here I am, much more successful, much more physically healthy, much more at peace with my life. So St. Jude came through for me, and all the other beings that I harassed their asses off came through for me as well. Now, before we conclude, I did want to say this because, you know, one thing about me is that I don't like to talk about negative things unless I know there's a teaching behind it. So, you know, the short version of the story is that I finally realized that somebody had successfully hexed me. And I thought that it was a divine orchestration, even though it didn't feel like one. That was the only thing that came into my mind. So because this hex has been reversed and banished back to the nothingness from whence it came, and because their lame-ass attempt to re-hex me was also squashed and quashed and thwashed and all the other washed, I am looking forward to leading classes on a regular basis again. So I'm very happy about this. Teaching classes like these makes me very happy, and it made me very unhappy to stop doing it. But I knew that it was necessary for me to stop doing it. At least I knew that in my heart of hearts at the time. So some of the things that are coming up, and it's not going to be next month. It's going to be between now and December of this year. So I'm laughing because, you know, so all of my events have this beautiful spiritually uplifting name. but there is an event that does not have that kind of a name that Michelle gave me. And, because I have an event called the Divine Love Healing Event, and I have another event called Sacred Spirit. But the event that Michelle spawned, can I use that term?
Yes,
The one that Michelle spawned is called No Bitch, This Thing Is Mine and You Can't Have It. And not surprisingly, it is my event on spiritual protection and psychic self-defense. And I will tell you that title has been well received by everybody. Everybody laughs, everybody loves it. So thank you for giving me that name for that event, because it works so well. So I'm long overdue to teach a class on spiritual protection and psychic self-defense. And that's definitely going to be one of these kinds of events. It's going to be an in-person group event and an online live streaming event at the same time. And I will tell you that probably either the first or the second Friday in October, I will lead a Divine Love Healing event. And it's so funny. I mean, just as a personal observation, this is an event that I used to lead even when I was down on romantic relationships. And now that I am anywhere near down on romantic relationships, every time that I would schedule the event, it had to be canceled because there were less than 5 participants. It was the craziest thing. And I know I just heard somebody in online land say, well, that's not going to be the case this time, Robert. I'm like, yes, you're right. Whoever you were, you're right about that. So I definitely want to lead those two between now and December 31st, 2018. I don't have dates scheduled yet. They will be, as soon as they're scheduled, you'll know. But I definitely want the two. And I feel like I need to do another event between now and the end of the year. I don't have, I'm not being told what it is. And I am absolutely open to any of you and all of you and all of you to give me ideas, because if it's something that's going to make you happy, I'm more than willing to teach it. Now, before I go any further, I want to invite all of you to this is one of my favorite parts of my classes, and that's giving everybody gifts. So I'm gonna actually get up. So some of you are not gonna see me right now until I get back into this chair, but I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go around the room. And these are some of my favorite crystals. So you're gonna reach in your left hand, because that's the receiving hand, and you're gonna pull out a crystal, and whatever it is, it's yours. Green aventurine, one of my favorite prosperity crystals. Okay. Malachite. Malachite is a prosperity crystal. By the way, there are not all prosperity crystals in here. It just seems that way. Malachite is a heart chakra healer, and it is also a prosperity crystal in that it attracts unexpected forms of prosperity and unexpected opportunities for prosperity. Citrine quartz, another one of my personal favorite prosperity crystals. There's more in here. It is a small bag. That is called purple goldstone. So goldstone is made from the fusion of copper and glass. And they have made it so that there's purple goldstone, which looks like this beautiful midnight starry night sky. And there's green goldstone. So the thing about purple goldstone, one of its metaphysical properties is that it opens you up to receive greater and more clear and illumined divine guidance and spiritual wisdom. And it really does look like a starry night sky. Mm-hmm. I can't believe it. It's an amethyst. Okay, so now all of my personal favorite prosperity crystals have been given out. The citrine quartz, the green aventurine, and the amethyst. hematite, one of my personal favorite spiritual and psychic self-defense crystals. Now, those of you watching online, there will be crystals I will tune in to give to you. Okay. I don't know why I sat back down because I have more gifts to give. Okay. So.
Can you tell us about amethyst?
Sure. Amethyst was used by the ancient Romans for wealth and opulence. And amethyst is one of my personal favorite crystals to use for meditation. And it is also an excellent crystal for promoting restful night's sleep. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, so I know that you are an Aquarius, so I use the electric blue bag for you. And even though purple is not a traditional Taurus or Scorpio color, I know that your sun sign is Scorpio, so that's for you. Now, let's see. So this one I set aside for you, Phil. And this one I'm going to give to you. You're welcome. Now, you and you get to pick from the grab bag. But there are 3 items in here that need to go to a specific altar. So I'm keeping those items in. And those of you watching online, I'll have gifts for you too. So you can choose one of these. Okay? Oh, good, that works out well. Okay. Oh, actually, so you can take it home.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, this all worked out so well. Okay, so let's close the evening. I thank all the goddesses, gods, angels, fairies, ascended masters, and saints who are here during this Divine Prosperity Simulcast event. I thank all the ancestors and all the spirit guides and all the guardian angels and all the other celestial beings who are here tonight. Those of you who are here in person, those who are here virtually, I thank all of the celestial beings that accompany us during our earthly sojourn. I am most thankful for all of you, and I am especially thankful for all the blessings that are coming into our lives here and now after the completion and the conclusion of this event. Thank you for guiding our way. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for healing us. Thank you for imparting your strength, your wisdom, your knowledge. Thank you for increasing the clarity, the illumination, the joy, and the peace. And thank you for increasing the amounts of monies that we receive through all avenues, channels, doors, and points of income. And thank you especially for all the blessings that we are bringing to others through having been here tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amun, amen, and so must it be. And there you have it. Goodbye, virtual internet land.